Hi guys, it's Brett at Jokerz, and today we're going to talk about our 2.4 and 2.7 CNC ported snouts. What those snouts offer, how they differ versus the aftermarket, and what they are capable of when you put them on your vehicle. But first, let's get a view of that port work versus stock. Here's a stock casted snout. Here's a CNC ported snout. These ported snouts feature a 1/8 millimeter opening. Now, in discussions online, people have discussed that about an inch back, you get a cross-sectional area of about 102 to 104. And they ask and they say that this may be detrimental to performance. They are correct. However, our ported snouts and billet bearing plates on a 2.4 boost-only car has been under 8.5 boost only. If you're not running 8.5 or less boost only, is this a restriction? Yeah, maybe. Because on aftermarket snouts, they take this point here to this point here and add the material back in, so that way as the air comes into the inside part, it can fill this rotor. You can see that there is basically a wall here, and that's what we're doing. We're going from this point to this point and filling it in. That gains about 1 pound of boost. So that should answer your question, what a stock ported snout versus an aftermarket snout does. Now, this features a 1/8 millimeter opening. The port removes 1.7 pounds of material from the snout itself versus the stock one. The profile here has been made to match our billet bearing plate, in which you use anaerobic sealant only. There's no reason to run a gasket on this. We wanted to make sure that when this was mated together and bolted together, that the anaerobic sealant created the perfect gasket match, which maintains airflow speed through the snout and into the rotor, into the bearing plate and into the blower. Gains, when coupled with this snout and our bearing plate on a stock on a 93 octane build, you're looking at anywhere from 40 to 60 horsepower. On E85, we have seen anywhere from 60 all the way to 120 horsepower. In our race packages, we do include high-speed RPM bearings that go in the front and back, and the 2 pockets right here. This billet bearing plate will get our dome cap. But right now, what I want to show you is how good our CNC ported snout matches up with our bearing plate. Put this light right here. As you can see, we have a perfect gasket match. This allows the air to flow into the bearing plate with 0 turbulence and into the rotors with even less turbulence. So, does porting your stock snout make sense? Maybe not by itself. You gain about 10 to 15 horsepower when coupled with a throttle body. But your biggest restriction on a Hellcat blower is your bearing plate. Bearing plates alone have been tested to 50 to 75 horsepower. And with aftermarket snouts, like the SDG one, we tested when we put our bearing plate with their snout, we picked up 85 wheel horsepower. So, you're looking at 60 to 70 horsepower with a stock snout with a bearing plate gain. So, like when you have a stock ported snout only, and then you add a bearing plate, you're looking at 60 to 70 horsepower. When you have an aftermarket snout and you add our bearing plate to it, it's 85. There's your 15 horsepower difference. So, a stock snout that's ported versus an aftermarket snout is worth 15 horsepower. Our porting packages for the Hellcat supercharger platforms runs $2,100 plus $175 shipping. That includes a CNC ported snout, billet bearing plate, dome cap, silencer bushings, rebuild of the front half of the bearing plate, rebuild of the snout, full assembly, oil, ready, shipped back to you. Those are the kinds of gains you can expect. That's the prices you can expect. And here's the quality you can expect. We have had the same design since 2019 on the snouts and the bearing plates since 2021. We ran the same design on our stock ported bearing plates from 2019 to 2021. I hope this answers your questions. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to comment down below, and I look forward to doing business with you. Thanks for everything. You guys have a good one.